Yes.
Review of Monster, please.
Monsters, yes. So, Monsters, in case anyone who doesn't know about it, is a film by a first-time writer and director, Gareth Edwards, who previously worked as a visual effects artist on the BBC, I think. And basically what he's done is he's managed to cobble together some finance, not a lot, but enough basically to go to Mexico and shoot a film with a bunch of actors. And he basically done all the special effects in his bedroom. The budget was something about, they estimated about $500,000 dollars, which, you know, let's compare this to King Kong, another monster movie made by Peter Jackson in 2005. That was made for $200 million.
Okay,
so
more. Or
a low budget, let's be fair, something like Cloverfield, that was made for $25 million.
Yeah. Wait, I like it when Hollywood say...
Did you just go, a Cloverfield? Okay, we're going to come to this.
I don't like J.J. Abrams, apart from Star Trek.
We'll get to this.
Okay, but I like it when Hollywood go, it's a low-budget film. How much was that? How much is low budget? Oh, only $60 million.
Yeah, exactly. Particularly like
down the back of my sofa,
that is. So $500,000 is admirable. So, apparently a lot of the dialogue was improvised, a lot of the actors used were unprofessional, and there's a very realistic, new wave-ish feel to the whole thing. It's essentially watches like a now this gets pretentious here.
Oh, good.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. A Jean-Luc Godard film, and Jean-Luc Godard, he is the founder of the French New Wave, obviously, and he made films where basically people sit in hotel rooms, smoke a lot, drink quite a lot, have a bit of sex, and talk about existentialism. So they go, oh la la, je suis bacala, je bois le pot, and it's actually, for a film buff like me, they're quite interesting. But essentially, it's one of them. So they all sit around, and it's basically evolves around this couple. There's a photographer who takes pictures of the devastation the monsters cause, and he is hired by his publisher to escort his daughter back to America. The essential thing that's happened is that somewhere in the not too distant future, strange alien things have landed in the border territory between Mexico and America, creating this infected zone that no one ever goes in of monsters, and they've got to get through that to get back to the US. So on one level it's a sort of parable about Mexican-American relations and immigration, all this stuff. On another level it's about Afghanistan and kind of the full, you know, there's a quote the directors had saying, if Godzilla is Iraq, this is Afghanistan, sort of the gritty fallout after what's been done.
Yeah.
And yes, so essentially most of the film is them sitting about, talking about things, talking about their feelings. Hey, what did you have for breakfast this morning? I had some bacon and eggs. Yeah, and then in the background,
it's just a monster just ambling past.
So, and so they'll, for largely it'll be, oh, you know, great, yeah, no, what do you feel about life and love? Well, I feel that essentially life is about this, and then a monster goes at them. But that happens very occasionally. That must be stressed. Very occasionally,
so
the mic goes splah.
It's not like monsters. You know, you don't have Scully every now and then just walking around in the background. Hi guys.
No, it's very much a.
Well, look, a monster done.
So what do I think? Well, I mean, it's well acted, it's well made. It's as I say, it's a French New Wave movie, and I like French New Wave movies.
Is it?
Well, it is, but it also has monsters in it.
Okay, but it's not French, though, is it?
So it has the aesthetic of a French New Wave.
Thank God,
movie.
I might actually go see this.
It's not. It's obviously English language and all this sort of stuff.
Lord.
But I mean, it's all part of this new wave of taking genre devices and taking them very seriously. Remember that film we released a couple of weeks ago called "We Are What We Are," the cannibal film.
Cannibal thing.
And you know, essentially, this all goes back to things like don't let the right one in, and don't let the right one in.
Don't let the right one in. Let the wrong man in.
That's the sequel, isn't it?
Here comes the intro.
Don't let the right one in. Let the bad one in. That actually sounds like prawn or something. Anyway,
prawn. More on that later.
Yes. So, that's an interesting genre exercise for a film buff like me. I'm like, oh, that's a very interesting way of approaching a new genre and doing a monster film like this. That's great. On another level, it's like, well, if you're not going to actually have monsters in it,
you failed calling it monsters.
And what's the point in make a French sit around talk about existentialism? Let's quote poetry each other, and I'll bask in that, and that'll be fine. But
if you have a film called Monsters, you need to have some bloody monsters.
Speaking as someone with a healthy respect for the genre, I mean, Godzilla is a great movie. It's essentially a vibrant comment on the atomic bomb and things like that, but it's also good fun, like, essentially, and it's obviously made in Japan. It's called Gojira or something like that, is what it's actually called. It's a film where this lizard, because of the fallout of the atomic bomb, grows massively, and the whole thing is like, to kill this lizard, what are we prepared to do?
Get a big moth.
get a big moth.
Isn't that how he doesn't he fight Man Moth or something?
No, there's like
Mothra.
No, we're talking about the original. There's like loads of others. I think there's a King Kong versus God. That's all that by the by. The first one is essentially the premise is right. There's this great monster, blah, boof, boof, running around. What are we prepared to sacrifice to kill it?
Okay.
So it's a
yeah.
Right. You see
I'm
the
seeing.
allegory.
No, I'm seeing.
But all these films are fun. Cloverfield is a better film than this, I would argue, because Cloverfield has these interesting comments on the post 9/11 visual culture, and it has interesting political exercise going on, but it's also good fun. It's also good, tense, monster munching fun.
Fine.
And this isn't fun. It's engaging and it's intelligent and it's rich and it's poignant and it has great creature design and good characters and interesting themes, but it's not much fun.
And it's the independent as well.
Yes, and that's great too, but it isn't very much fun. And a monster movie, in my opinion, should be fun.
Like Monsters, Inc.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Monsters, Inc. had about 1 billion monsters in it. This has none.
It did.
Or
It
two.
has some. They're like these tentacly things.
Okay.
That's what they do. I mean, and it looks really good, but, you know, like, if you're not going to make a fun monster movie, why make that? What you've made is a Jean-Luc Godard film with tentacles.